Can you believe this? It's snowing. I don't know if you can see it all coming down. Hang on. Here it comes. Amazing. May 8th. We're having a little snowstorm coming through. This is something, huh? There's the sun trying to peek through up there. Anyway, hello everybody. It is Saturday early evening. So, hey Charlie. So, I've been thinking about a few things, and I know I had an agenda with my 30 Habits for Happiness, which gave me a focus for some thoughts and ways of keeping you happy. So what I thought about after that was, for those of you in recovery that are familiar with the 12 steps, I thought perhaps I will discuss my thoughts and my take on it. And I'm sure those of you that know of them will know the very first one is quite interesting, but really they're also a way of life for a lot of people, with or without addiction in their lives. They can be a way of life to live by, just like the 4 agreements and certain religions have precepts and those kinds of things. And I thought, you know what, that would be something interesting to talk about. Yeah, it is snowing, dear. It's crazy. This is a crazy day, huh? It was snowing earlier this morning too, like quite a bit. I don't know what the northwest corner looks like, because they usually get more than we do, but here it is, right? That's how it is. May 9th, and we're supposed to have snow overnight, I think someone said. So step number 1 of the 12 steps is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. And many people who utilize the 12 steps also say things like become powerless over, instead of alcohol, people, places, and things, which really brings you into another whole realm. So if you're powerless over people, places, and things, a lot of us can probably relate to that right now with this COVID deal. We are powerless over this, having it happen the way it did. And some of the stuff we really have almost no say in how it's being handled. The government's handling it certain ways. Every mayor and every governor is handling it in a certain way. The president's handling it in a certain way. And it's kind of interesting to think about the concept of being powerless. And what does that really mean? And the last part, the tagline at the end of it is, and our lives had become unmanageable. So has your life become unmanageable because of COVID? Has your life become unmanageable because of other things, people, places, or things, or alcohol, or drugs, or whatever an addiction you might have? If it makes your life unmanageable, then it's definitely something you want to take a look at and figure out how to get a handle on it. Do you need a support group? Do you need to talk to a counselor? Do you need to, get more information? Do you need to do more meditation or prayer? Or does church work for you? There's lots of options for lots of people, depending on, what resources you have, or maybe resources you might be interested in obtaining. So if you're powerless, what does that really mean? To me, that means that there are some things in my life that I have absolutely no control over, that I can't change them, I can't fix them, I can't make them different than what they are. Even stuff I don't like, there's stuff I don't like, but it actually, as they say, it is what it is. And powerlessness means I'm accepting the fact that I maybe can't do something about it, but that I'm okay with living with it as it is. That I'm not going to be miserable about something that I cannot change. I can't change the weather. We talked about that the other day. You can be mad about the weather, but how does that serve you? In my book anyways, it doesn't. So I just look at it and go, of course you guys know, if you've listened to me before, I could care less what the weather is. It's never an issue. I am happy with whatever the weather happens to be at the time. I'm okay with snow, I'm okay with sun, I'm okay with rain, I'm okay with tons of snow, I'm okay with no snow in a winter. It really doesn't change my day. I deal with whatever comes my way in whatever way I need to. So, I can remember, I think it was about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, we had like a killer winter. There was so much snow here. I think I was still in business at the time with my store, if I remember correctly. It snowed and it snowed and it snowed. It started early. It started in October and it kept coming. I think we still had snow in March, in April, on the ground. Piles of it. And you know what? What do? You deal with it. You get plowed out, you get shoveled out, you do it yourself, whatever the case may be. You have to do what you have to do, right? That's just how it is. And a day to time. Like, I can remember people saying things like, "Oh my God, is it ever going to end?" Well, it is. It's going to end. Spring always comes in Connecticut, anyways. So far, all the years I've been here, it's always come. And I don't see that changing this year either, no matter what's going on in the world. So it's a little colder certainly this year than it's normally at this time of year. So all my concern is now is, when do I put my plants out? When am I going to put my flowers out? Not have them die. I don't want to put them out too early. So that would be an important thing to think about. But being powerless basically means that, for me anyways, my definition of it, or my way of dealing with it, is that there are certain things in life that you absolutely have no power over. That it doesn't mean I'm powerless as in helpless, because I'm not helpless. I still have many tools in my toolbox. Some of them are, the things we've talked about before: prayer, meditation, talking to friends, getting counseling, going to church and getting some benefit from it. You find a church. If you don't have a church that you like, find one that you do. I went church shopping years ago when I moved back up into the New Britain and Newington area. My kids were babies. I was single. I had 3 little ones, and I decided that I wanted to go church shopping because I wasn't sure what I wanted to go to for a church. So every week my sister too, actually at the time, we would go to a different church every week and test it out, see if we liked it. And at one point, all of a sudden I realized I kind of wanted to keep going to this one particular church at the time, in Kensington. And I went there. I ended up going there for like 20 years, becoming a member. I was a deacon. I served on committees. I was very involved in that. My kids all did their communion there, confirmation. It happened. So, I found a church that I liked, and that worked for me at the time. So it's a different church than I go to today. But that's just how life evolves, and how, as you change, it's okay to change, what you're doing and what serves you, and to find things or have things presented to you that are good for you now. Whatever you need for right now is what's important. So to me, I'm not powerless over those kinds of things. I'm not helpless over them. I can choose those kinds of things. And I think that's the difference that I see about the difference between powerlessness and helplessness. They're 2 completely different things. So for me, again, another piece of powerlessness would be things like, I can't change how gravity is. I can't change, like I said, the weather. I can't change certain things in my life about, the way things are in general. If I want to change something, I can make a decision on a different day to do something different. And sometimes that's what I do. So if I want to, maybe let the governor know how I feel about this, COVID thing and how they're dealing with it, I can write a letter. those kinds of things. That's where I do have some power. But powerless over people, places, and things means I can't control how somebody else lives their life, or how somebody else has, an attitude about other people. I can't control people, places, and things. So places are just what they are. They, if you want to be a part of something, you go there and you be a part of it. If you don't want to, you just don't go there. So for me, powerlessness has big implications in terms of my choices in life, and me living according to my values and what I think is important. And so those are the things that I do follow through on a daily basis with, and that's a piece of it for me. There's way more to it than that, but for today, I think that's what I'm going to say about it. And the biggest part of it is recognizing that if it is something you're powerless over and you can't do anything about it, is it making your life unmanageable? Is it something that consumes you day and night? Is it something that bothers you on occasion, and you either get angry about it or sad about it or upset about it or whatever? Then you need to figure out how to get past that, because it's not serving you. If it's making your life unmanageable on some level, then it's important to make the change that you need to make. And not to say that those changes can't be difficult. Sometimes you have to end relationships with friends, or guy friends, or girlfriends, or whoever it might be, because it makes your life unmanageable. And their chaos can spill over into your life. And if that's becoming so unmanageable that your life is turning into chaos too, then sometimes you need to cut those ties with those people and allow them, bless them and send them on their way, so to speak, because they're no longer serving you. And you staying in there might be also a piece of what they call enabling, which is not a good thing. It's one thing to be supportive of somebody and to be caring about somebody and to be kind and all that, but if it goes beyond that point where it's become an enabling, where you're allowing them to continue to either abuse other people and thinking it's okay, then that's when it has to shift and change, because that's not even being a good neighbor, so to speak, because of what it's doing to other people around them. And sometimes that's the message that has to come across, is like, I can't be your friend anymore because of this, this, and this, or I can't be in your company this much because of whatever it is they're doing. There's nothing wrong with setting boundaries around stuff like that. That is a place where you do have some choices to make, and you can choose to be in friendship with a person, but maybe you have to know how much you're in friendship with them. Or maybe you have to limit how much you talk to them on the phone, because after you get off the phone with them, you're depressed for days. That's not a good thing. You can't be someone's counselor, and leave that up to the professionals if that's the case. Or suggest that they get help, professional help, if they're that draining, because that's not serving you or them. And people can suck you dry if you're not careful, So you always have to be firm in, who you are, what you are, and where you're going to hold your limits on. So making my life unmanageable, has happened in the past, and I've had to, end friendships or relationships with people because of it. And it's not the easiest thing to do, and it does take a lot of self-awareness about what's going on in that relationship. And I also know that I need to know myself enough to be able to do that properly. You can do it with kindness and with love. And that's not the easiest thing to do, and I'm sure I've done it wrong plenty of times. As a matter of fact, I know I have. So, but you do what you do, and people are always doing the best they can. Some of them are very unaware of, maybe how they present to the world. I know there's times when there's family members that, they don't like me sometimes. I'm like, I get it, because I can be rough, and sometimes I'm not, presenting well, so to speak, but I'm still doing my best. And you're always going to be human. That's the part that you have to remember, is you still need to love yourself even if somebody else doesn't, even if your own family doesn't. or if certain members of your family don't. It's still okay to recognize it and then try to do better for yourself. Not because you're trying to repair, although that could be part of it, that relationship. You really want to do this for your own self, to be happy with yourself, and to not have an unmanageable life. I mean, you can't have nobody in your life. We are social beings, and so that's important. So I think that's one of the things that I think about when it comes to, having unmanageability, keeping clear boundaries. And you know what? Your boundaries can change from time to time. As you change and evolve and change who you are, your boundaries can change with the relationships that you have with people in the past. And perhaps you have to come back to it in another day and time and say, hey, you know what? This is how I am now. Do you want to try again? Let's see if we can, get to a better place where we feel like our relationship is mutually, beneficial. Because really, that's what a relationship should be. It should be beneficial to both parties, not just one-sided, where one's always taking and one's always giving. That's not healthy, and that's not the way I want to live my life, and I choose not to. So there are times where you again, have to set those boundaries. But when I think about, the first step, it's an important one. It's important to recognize where I am in it, and recognizing how my life is right now today. Today was kind of a sad day this morning. I was thinking about a good friend of mine. She's near her last days, and I miss her. I miss her already because, of course, she lives far away, but she's no longer able to speak on the phone or converse with anyone, and she's in comfort care at this point. So you know what I can do? I can send her prayers and love, and I'm going to send her a message through her daughter later tonight. And she's just a wonderful person. So I didn't have the best morning after, I did the shopping show, which was good. But then I started thinking about it because a friend of mine called and was talking about her daughter had passed a while back, and it was an anniversary of it. And I was like, yeah, I'm feeling sad right now because of my friend, And so we ended up talking about it for a while. And you know what? That's another good thing too. Sometimes people call you at just the right time, and it's like, yeah, I need to be aware of that right now and have a good cry and realize how sad I am, But that's okay. That's, again, something I'm powerless over. I know that people pass, all the time. I know that I will someday as well. And, we're only here for a limited amount of time. We try to make the best of it as we can, and be the best person we can during the time that we are here on, for this go round anyways. For those of you that believe in afterlives and continuing life and all that, I believe I've lived before. Not in this body, obviously, but that's okay. And I will again at some point. Who knows when and how? I don't know how that all works. I'm not privy to any of that information, but that's just how it is, right? So I believe that I will see her again someday, and I'm grateful for the friendship because it's been wonderful. So, every day is different, and awareness of how I feel every day and who I am every day is important stuff for me, and that's what I stay on top of, is being present to myself, taking good care of myself, knowing that I have people who care about me and for me, and I love them and they love me. So look at that, the sun is out again. This is a crazy afternoon, isn't it? The sun just came out again over there. Wow. And the snow has stopped, and it's just wet on the roads. So I will sign off with the sun is always shining, guys. It's always got your back, just like your creator, and hopefully all your friends and people that love and care about you, just like I do. So bye for now. I will talk to you again tomorrow. I hope everyone has a wonderful Mother's Day, for those that have moms that passed or those that have moms that are still here. We can always celebrate the fact that you're here because you had a mother, and So I always say Happy Mother's Day to guys too, because they had one. They had to get here somehow, and we all come that way. So how great is that we have moms everywhere that have done that for us and wanted us on the planet. So Happy Mother's Day early. Have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.